Great Scott. Great Scott. Great Scott.
Hello everyone and welcome to another fabulous episode of Great Scott. I'm Scotty V. Thanks for watching. So I've just finished watching the FanDome special Superman and Lois panel, which was hosted by Jim Lee, Todd Helbing, who is the showrunner, executive producer, and also in attendance were Bitsy Tulloch, who is Elizabeth Tulloch, who is playing Lois Lane, and Tyler Hoechlin, who is playing Superman. Both of them very charming, very nice to hear from them both. They seem very happy about playing these characters. They seem to be very interested in meeting fans and getting the show going. It's supposedly coming in January 2021. But Bitsy said that she had only read 2 scripts so far, which sounds like they haven't filmed anything, so I'm not really sure that we can get a show already in January if they haven't started working. And I know Hollywood has slowed down, movie making has slowed down, movie releases are slowed down, all of the upcoming seasons of lots of shows that some of you may be looking for are all sort of slowed down. We're kind of in a limbo. We're not really sure when television, films, entertainment are going to start happening again because of this whole pandemic and because of the situation we're in, which is something else brought up by an enduring symbol of hope like Superman, and they even talk about on this panel. The situation we all find ourselves in on a day-to-day basis, the idea of sometimes maybe feeling a hopelessness or a sadness or a depression or an idea that we don't know where this is going to go, how it's going to end, or if we're ever going to get out of it. The idea of always overcoming as humanity, as people, as families, as characters. As you know, you look at Superman, the symbol of hope, the idea of hope, the idea that there can always be a better time, there can always be a better way, and hopefully we can overcome this. And having someone like Superman as a character you can look up to, you can be inspired by. Obviously, he isn't real, but it can help people to sort of get through their day, even in times when it's not some crazy pandemic that we're all in right now, just the crazy hustle of your life. And the upcoming show is sort of going to focus on slowing that crazy hustle down a little bit. They're going to be living in Smallville and raising 2 teenage boys, which got changed at the end of the Crisis on Infinite Earths. They had 1 baby. Now they're going to have 2 teenage boys. Jim Lee and Todd Helbing, they were talking about how the characters are going to be different from each other. So you have 2 now, and they want to focus on each one's going to have its own set of strengths, its own set of weaknesses, its own personality of the 2 children, one of them named Jonathan. They didn't mention what the other one's name is. It might be out there already. And the idea that, yes, they have to be one, the most famous superhero in all the land, and the other, the most famous journalist in all the land, also now have to be parents to these 2 teenagers and try to balance that out. So their idea of being in Smallville, where maybe it'll be an environment more conducive to raising kids, which I guess is going to bring its own set of challenges. The fact that they're in a smaller town and things can sort of get out of hand much easier, I guess, in a more confined area where everyone sort of knows everyone, and it's sort of that kind of thing. They talked about when they were first sort of influenced by Superman. Bitsy Tulloch mentioned that she hadn't seen many of the other shows. She has worked with Erica Durance, but is not that familiar with Smallville, but loved the Christopher Reeve, Margot Kidder movies, and loved the idea that even though Margot Kidder's Lois Lane didn't really know that Clark Kent was Superman until she eventually did, it seemed to her that Lois seemed to know, even though she didn't react as if she knew. She would give certain looks to Christopher Reeve that seemed to indicate that she had this knowledge. And there were definitely times in the story where she thought, and then she called herself names for being so silly and thinking that. And then, of course, she eventually did figure it out. And Elizabeth says that she was inspired by this idea that they're just this perfect couple and they belong together, in that she, Lois, just gets Clark, gets Superman, gets the importance of having a figure like Superman, and can understand why he has to go and be who he is. And she herself is someone who has to go and be who she is, who doesn't stop fighting for the truth and doesn't stop fighting to find these answers and to forward the narrative of truth in whatever situation we're in. And how important in this day and age, when journalists and media are sort of under attack in the political realm for going after the truth and for saying the things that they do and maybe getting silenced in some situations when they shouldn't be, how important it is to her to be playing one of these people, and how heroic real journalists are going out there and getting the stories and putting themselves on the line to try and make sure that we all know the things we need to know to get through our lives, the truths that sometimes are hidden from us by other forces, or maybe manipulated in such a way that we don't get it the way we need to get it. So the idea that a hard-hitting but very honest reporter, journalist such as Lois Lane or Clark Kent would be out there looking out for our best interest is a very important character, a very great thing. The other thing that they all did was draw the Superman symbol. Todd, Tyler, and Bitsy Tolek also, with the help of Jim Lee, learned that the Superman symbol really is just two fish sort of facing in opposite directions. And then he later said they kind of look more like whales, but if you draw the fish, you can later then sort of redefine them to make them look more like the S. And to varying degrees, they all sort of succeeded. Somehow Jim Lee's was the best. I'm not sure why. I think it was only available on September 12th, but maybe it's out there on YouTube or something like that, or maybe you can access it if you've watched it before. I'm not certain, but I just wanted to cover it. I'm always excited about more Superman stories, and even though this so far hasn't been my favorite portrayal of both of these characters, it's an interesting another look. It's another situation that they're putting Superman and Lois into that we really haven't seen. Them as parents in a quiet town, and they've also promised that there will be superhero adventures. There's going to be supervillains, there's going to be superhero action, in addition to the main idea of them being parents with kids in this small town. And the other thing that you might find interesting, a fan asked, will we see a new Superman suit? Todd Helbing, the helmer of the series, says yes. Yes, we will. They took it as an opportunity to start fresh. Same thing when they changed the idea that they now have 2 teenage boys instead of 1 baby boy. They have also decided there's going to be a kick-ass new Superman suit for the series. They didn't say anything about it, whether we've seen it already or not, or if it's just a slightly... but the idea that a kick-ass new Superman suit seems to indicate that it's not just going to be the same one from Supergirl that's a little bit adjusted. Todd said that the suit wasn't really built to withstand an entire series. It was built to be used once or twice on Supergirl, so now they had to make a new one. So hopefully some of what I know a lot of you are looking for, a better design, a different design, a more traditional looking Superman design, will follow. I hope so. I wouldn't expect trunks if I were you, but maybe some adjustments, some things that more people will be happy with. Who knows? It's going to be exciting. Hopefully we haven't seen it on any of the posters yet. I would think it's going to be part of the storyline, but maybe not. We'll see how it goes. Thanks everybody for watching, and remember, always look up in the sky.